Hey guys, biracial Tiffany here. I'm back in my room. I had a really great trip home and I'm happy to be back. I just sort of am so out of my routine. I was gone for 4 days and I don't want to go to the gym anymore. I don't want to walk Indy to the park. I guess I had a nice relaxing time. But I'm doing all those things I don't want to do anyway. It just feels weird and I have been thinking, oh, I need to vlog. And I'm like, what do I vlog about? I don't know what happened. Also, I just wanted to say I've been having internet problems for a while, and if I'm not responding to comments, I probably tried to, and then I tried to send it, and it wouldn't go through. I don't know when I'm going to be able to post this vlog. I guess I just have to go somewhere and wait for it to be done, because it's not going to happen in my house right now, unfortunately. I really want to thank Chaos Child for making the video response to my Q&A, so if you guys haven't seen that, you might want to check it out. He's really cool. Really love the video. Thank you very much for doing that. So, I have been thinking about sort of including some, history of mulattoes in America on these vlogs. I don't know if that's interesting to people. I don't know if, there are other videos on YouTube about that and maybe they've turned you off. If I'm to bring it up, it's just going to be like a presentation of fact with no spin, and certainly I don't think that I am better than anyone for having read this information. I just don't know if it is that interesting, so I'm going to try. I'm going to start with one fact, because when I wrote the proposal for my documentary 2 years ago now, I made a chronological history of miscegenation and mulattoes in America. And so I'm going to share with you the first fact. It's the first record of miscegenation. And without miscegenation, there's no mulatto. So I guess that's where we have to start, right? So in 1630, the first public record of sexual relations between a white man and a Negro woman was entered in Virginia. It read, September 17th, 1630, Hugh Davis is to be soundly whipped before an assembly of Negroes and others for abusing himself to the dishonor of God and the shame of Christians by defiling his body in lying with the Negro. So there you have it. I kind of want to add one more fact. I'm skipping one. But this one is, I think, another cool and important thing. In 1662, deviating from the traditional English law that held that children should have the status of their fathers, the Virginia legislature ruled that mulatto children should have the status of their mothers, since most of the mothers were black. This law assured racially mixed people couldn't claim the freedom their white fathers enjoyed. It also permitted white masters to preserve the economic and social status quo and gave them unfettered ability to increase the slave population through sexual transgressions. Okay, so that's enough of that. But if you want to comment and tell me if you want to hear more things like that, or it's not really that interesting, I don't know. I'm just curious, because that's kind of different for the Mulatto Diaries. Okay, so I'm going to share one personal story, and I think that's going to be it for today, because I'm kind of feeling like I'm not into the groove with this, and I don't even know when I'm going to be able to post it. So, when I was home, my dad and I had breakfast together, and he was, kind of asking me how I feel about the biracial thing since I've been vlogging, and, has anything changed, or, I don't know, just kind of my thoughts on everything. And I said I really like doing it, and I love that people are responding, and that I think there's a dialogue, and if I died today or tomorrow, I feel like I've left something that could change the way people think and the way race is viewed, defined, whatever, so that's great. But in terms of what would I still like to see happen? And so much I would still like to see happen, but this was one thing that I just don't think I've ever really talked about. I would love for if someone knows that I'm biracial and I start telling a story or say something about my dad or my stepmom, my stepsisters, who, you know, whoever I'm talking to, I would assume that I've discussed before that they're white and blah, blah, blah. I would love it if I could be almost sure that those people that I'm talking to would be imagining the white people that I'm talking about. If that makes any sense. I was watching Obama's Father's Day speech, which is kind of controversial, and essentially I liked it because he spoke the truth. I just wish that he had sort of given more props to dads that are doing the right thing. I sort of felt like he made it sound like Michelle's father was the only one, like the exception to the rule. And though there are many deadbeat dads in the African American community and every community, you know, certainly, I think his last name was Robinson, was not the only one. And I'm sure he wasn't really implying that, but I can see why people would have been like, that was kind of off for Father's Day. That's not even my point. My point is he was talking about his mom being embarrassed but using food stamps, you know, to buy groceries or whatever. And I sort of was thinking, I bet most people are imagining a black woman, even though we all know his mom is white. And my personal experience that leads me to believe this is I have a friend who has a biracial relative, and who I, you know, when I was first really contemplating and researching and reading a lot about the biracial experience and kind of being like, hey, I'm just as much white as I am black, and I don't need to feel bad about that, and I don't need to only define myself as black to make people happy. If I want to be both, since I am, then I can be. So I was working with this friend, and we would have lots of discussions about this, because there's a lot of downtime on this job. And her relative is biracial. And, you know, so I thought, like, here's someone who clearly has a pretty good grasp of what I'm talking about, because they can witness some of these things in their own family. So one day we were working at, like, a fashion show event, and it was at a nightclub, and we were there before anything started, so it was like us and 3 other people in this place. And there was a guy at the bar, and there were like 2 people sitting on the other side of the room. And I was like, that guy at the bar reminds me of my dad for some reason. And it was a white guy. That's not why he reminded me of my dad. I don't even remember why that was, but so she looks, and then she, like, looks around and looks around, like, clearly looking for a black man. She was like, where? I'm like, the guy at the bar. I'm telling you, on this whole side of the room, there was one person, and this one person was at the bar, and it was a white man, and she just, like, kept looking around for this guy that could possibly remind me of my dad. And I was like, I thought we had a clear understanding that my dad is white and my mom is black. So anyway, I'm just saying that, like, I think that this, you know, I mean no offense to this person, and I'm sure it was unconscious and whatever, but it was like, still, even after we'd had, I'm going to go ahead and say, hours of discussion on the topic, like, in her mind, there was no space for my dad not to be black, I guess. Of course, I'm going to say I hope this makes sense, because it probably didn't, and but I always do hope it makes sense, because all of a sudden 9 minutes has gone by, and I don't even know what I have said that could fill up that amount of time. So, thank you for watching. I just wanted to share those things, and always looking forward to comments, and please pardon me if it takes me a while to get back, because I'm having some Time Warner Cable Roadrunner issues this week. Bye.